I'm here at the State House with Representative Lance Kinzer of Olathe. Lance, what was your reaction to the governor's State of the State address?
Well, the governor has certainly set a very aggressive agenda for the legislature this year, and I'm glad that he has, because each of the main elements that he laid out in the State of the State speech are matters that we have needed to take under consideration for some time. School finance reform, reform of the funding structure, tax reform, Medicaid reform, and looking at the public employees pension system are all big ticket items that the legislature is going to be considering this year. All of them are exciting in their own way. The tax reform proposal certainly seems to be getting the most attention in the near term, and definitely some dramatic differences in the proposal that's been laid out by the governor and the way things are currently done. I think aspirationally, in terms of the goals that the governor has set, a tax structure that relies less upon exemptions and credits and is more focused on a low rate, broadly speaking, is a fairer way and a better way to go about things. No question, the transition in that process is going to be difficult. And I think the key question is, do we have a plan, a plausible plan, to be able to continue to buy down rates over a relatively quick period of time in order to offset some of the costs that people would incur based upon the elimination of exemptions and credits.
Representative Kinzer, the governor has set up an ambitious reform plan for school finance. What are your thoughts on that major reform effort?
One core thing that folks in Johnson County school districts and constituents as well have talked about for years is the desire for greater flexibility within the formula for local school districts to be able to raise money at the local level. And certainly the governor's plan provides that in a way well beyond anything that's been contemplated before. And so my feeling is that needs to be linked to a direct vote of the people if there are going to be any increases in property taxes. But this plan, while it may not be perfect from a Johnson County perspective or any other perspective, puts a lot of issues on the table that need to have discussion, and I think, broadly speaking, it's a step in the right direction.
Every 10 years, the legislature is scheduled to redraw the boundaries for the state Senate and the state House. How's that coming this year?
I am serving on the redistricting committee, and so I've been involved in trying to work through that process. For Johnson County, even though there are some difficulties with respect to exactly where the lines are going to be, we've got a good problem compared to the problem that other parts of the state have, which is we're really talking about how do we configure lines to allow for all the growth that's been experienced in Johnson County. It is interesting to note that the growth in the county has not been everywhere in the county. But I think what you're going to see is certainly in the southern and western parts of the county, we're going to have some new districts without any incumbent legislators in them, and some tweaking of the boundary lines, and probably the more west and south you are, the more that those lines are going to substantially change.
Representative Kinzer, what are your personal priorities for passage this session of the legislature?
Well, if there was one bill that I would love to see make it all the way through the process this year, it's changing the way that we go about judicial selection in Kansas. This has been an issue I've been working on for years. We had some success on the House side with this issue last year, and so a proposal still exists on the Senate side that hopefully will get some attention. As I've said repeatedly, Kansas is very unique in the way we go about selecting judges. We're the only state in the country that has a nominating commission that is controlled, a majority of which is controlled by attorneys selected by other attorneys. And so while the nominating commission process itself is not unique, the way in which we go about filling out that nominating commission is unique. And it's my belief that process is not as open and as politically accountable as I would like to see for a branch of government as important as the judiciary. I do believe, for all its foibles, a system that is closer to the Senate system, where the governor would have a greater degree of authority in terms of choosing the best person that he or she believes should serve in the position, and then a legislative check through a confirmation process would have the advantage of being a much more open and accountable system, and the state of Kansas would very much benefit from that change.